Trenton Journal is for people who won't take no for an answer. Trenton Journal is for community leaders. Trenton Journal is for people who won't settle. Trenton Journal highlights some of the positive voices in the community and fills in the information gaps through original reporting.
Welcome to Capital Conversations. I'm your host, Kenneth Miles, founder and publisher of the Trenton Journal. Each episode, we bring you change makers and stakeholders who are making an impact in the capital city. And today, I have with me mayoral candidate Austin Edwards. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, Kenneth.
Listen, I've been waiting to sit down with you because I've interviewed a lot of candidates who's running for office, and people want to know more about your platform.
Sure.
So you're running for the 50th mayor, to become the 50th mayor of Trenton.
Absolutely. An honor that I hope to be able to serve the people of Trenton with.
Why now?
I think Trenton deserves a mayor who's best prepared to lead us into the next 250 years, right? And I don't take this opportunity lightly. If anything, we're facing a lot of challenges, but we also have the opportunity to meet it with a lot of opportunities. For example, my platform is to keep Trenton first, right? I want to make sure that we have a lot of jobs and economic opportunities that are coming into the area, right? We're positioned right in between New York and Philadelphia. We can leverage that opportunity to make sure every Trentonian benefits from it. I want to make sure that housing is available for all. We have so many people that are suffering from an affordability crisis where housing prices are going through the roof, property taxes are astronomical, and even if you rent here, right, you're paying half of your paycheck, right, to, frankly, landlords who aren't here and don't necessarily care about the community. We have an opportunity with my mayoral candidacy to address those issues, right? I want to ensure that our streets are safe, right? We have amazing street team members that I've had the pleasure of working with, both with Salvation Social Justice and with ISLES, who are members of the community, who are the first responders to stop violence from happening. I want to make sure that they're fully funded and give the opportunity for our local police to actually be our neighbors, to protect our neighbors. And I think we'll probably go into a little bit later. I want to make sure our city hall is as clean and functional for the people who live here, so we're not wasting and abusing taxpayer dollars.
So what would you say is broken in the city, and how do you plan to fix it?
Well, the first thing I would say is that we've had, unfortunately, a legacy of taxpayer dollars, of misuse, of fraud and abuse. We've seen most recently $50 million that was misappropriated with a recent audit that went out from City Hall. And the issue that I have isn't, frankly, just the fact that it was this $50 million, or even the fact that we've seen multiple money abuses over the past few years. It seems like it's become a culture in City Hall, right? The City Hall decided that we would hide this report from the people for over 8 months, right? Citing that it wouldn't even exist. That's a systemic problem where they believe that this is the norm, that they don't even have to report these issues to the Trenton people. We need to clean that up. What I want to do is have a Trenton transparency dashboard, because every Trentonian deserves to see where their hard-earned taxpayer dollars are going, whether it be to fixing the roads, whether it be to improving our housing, whether it be to investing in our small businesses. We deserve to know where our money is being used.
You have a long list of accomplishments, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're on the school board, Trenton Public School Board, president of the Trenton branch NAACP,
Mm-hmm.
Trenton Downtown Association.
Yes.
Board member?
So board chair.
Board chair.
Yes.
So you have all of these credentials underneath your belt.
Mm-hmm.
Was it intentional for you to take on all of these roles because you knew ultimately you were going to run for mayor? and you wanted to have experience in certain areas on nonprofits and with the school board.
Absolutely, Kenneth. I think that's what Trenton really does deserve. Someone who is ready and prepared to take the job of leadership. Now, did I know that it was necessarily be this year that I would step up to that high role? No. If anything, I knew that I wanted to just come back and serve my community in any capacity. But I always heard the phrase, and I always knew it to be true: to whom much is given, much is required. And looking around me and seeing the state of Trenton as it is right now, if anything, it's in worse shape when I left in right now than when it is in 2008, right? And
what do you contribute to that?
So what I'm doing right now is to make sure that all of us are uplifted, right? What I'm doing right now with the Trenton Downtown Association is supporting our small businesses, right? We have a variety of local grants that we're giving out, sometimes $5,000, $10,000 a piece, just to make sure our small businesses can stay afloat and keep supporting our Trentonians. The majority of them are hiring people literally from the city. Every single day they stay open is another family that is fed in Trenton. With the Trenton NAACP, we've expunged over 500 people's records with our one-stop shop expungement event. We've supported the women in the NAACP, winning statewide awards with our Black maternal health efforts, and overall just keeping our community healthy. With the school board, we've ensured that all communities, Black, Latino, Haitian, West African, are protected. I was a champion of making sure that, starting with the Attorney General's office, we had the Immigrant Trust Directive, so everyone could feel safe in their community and protected from ICE. And we're continuing that work with the school board by ensuring that every single one of our schools are safe spaces so our children can get educated safely and not worry about the negativity that's going on, unfortunately, in our streets. But at least our schools can be a safe place where they're protected.
On a school level, how has it impacted students? Do you see a decrease in attendance from the students?
Unfortunately, yes. And it was a marked decrease. You can literally track it month by month, and we have with our chronic absentee issue. So, for example, we've been tracking this over the past 4 or 5 years of reducing chronic absentee. And what you've seen is that I'll say we started off in the 30% of chronic absentee across the board, and we were getting it down slowly but surely. But it wasn't until January 2025, when this Trump administration took office, did that number jump to 50%.
That's huge. 50%?
Exactly. From 30% to 50% across the board. We're not ignorant to the fact that outside pressures are affecting us. We see ICE in our communities every single day. And frankly, we're doing everything we can to make sure that our children stay safe. So, for example, we passed a policy, and we reaffirmed that policy during this school board administration, that we would not allow anyone, no ICE agent, no law enforcement, to come into the schools unless they specifically had a judicial warrant. Not an administrative warrant, not one that's drawn up on Microsoft Word, a judicial warrant signed by a judge, and only then will they be able to come into the school after it is reviewed by our general counsel. Everything is shut down in the school. No one enters until everything is cleared. All the boxes are checked and reviewed by us. And they're looking for that one specific person, not a general dragnet.
What makes you more qualified to become mayor against the other candidates running for office? Why should, come November, why should they choose you?
Like I said, Trenton deserves someone who is prepared for the job. And everything I've done is to be prepared for this position. Trenton should have a mayor who not only knows the law and is an attorney, but has worked in the State House, has worked on Capitol Hill, right? Has forged partnerships, not just New Jersey-wide, but nationwide. Trenton deserves somebody who understands economic development, who's literally gone back to school. And I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to go back to Princeton and get a master's in public policy, right? Specifically studying urban environments. That's what Trenton is. And learning how to make cities like ours thrive. Trenton deserves somebody who's been ground level doing the work with our people day in, day out for almost a decade. That's the type of leadership that Trenton deserves, because someone needs to be prepared for the job, not learning at day one, but ready to take our city into the next 250 years and plus.
And you don't feel the current administration is doing that?
Unfortunately, what I'm seeing, that is not the case. And we see scandal after scandal after scandal. When we see money being mismanaged, when we see, frankly, things getting fixed almost once every 4 years when there's an election cycle happening. That's not the type of leadership that we deserve. We deserve leadership where, regardless of election, regardless of what's going on, you know that you can reach out to your mayor. You know that you can reach out to your city hall. You know that things are improving, that there is somebody that is going to fight for you every single day.
How do you plan to address the Trenton water crisis?
That's a great question. And I know that that is a huge issue that we need to talk about all the time. So, comprehensive answer with that. First, Trenton Waterworks is always known as a asset for the city, right? And I'm not ignorant to that fact. Right now is netting us $2 million a year, right? And that has to be measured out with the conversation with regionalization, with privatization, possibly state takeover, and whether we have the capacity to actually fix up this asset that we already have. Now, not being ignorant to that, I'm going to answer that question. I don't want to get lost in the sauce that at the end of the day, we can't forget about the simple fact that Trenton Waterworks needs to provide clean water to our people. Kenneth, I'm a father of a 2-year-old, right? And every single day, when we turn on the tap to get her bottle ready, I shouldn't have to think to myself, did we replace the Brita water filter? Or do we have to spend tens of thousands of dollars for a whole house repair filtration system just so I can know the water that I'm feeding her is safe? Clean water should be a guarantee for every single Trenton house. So what I want to do is to ensure that we both have clean water for every family. And whatever plan that may be, I'll be honest, I will be open to it, because we can't lose sight of that goal every single day. But simultaneously, the asset that Trenton Waterworks provides, my vision of Trenton is that that is not the sole asset that we have. We can't just rely on one single thing to keep us afloat. My vision of Trenton is that we will have an economic downtown that is providing money for the city, that we will have housing stock that's also providing property taxes that are fair and even across the board while still being able to provide for municipal services, that we have businesses that are contributing to the pot, that we're investing in our arts, in our tourism, in our history. We have so many assets that are here, and I don't want Trenton to be solely reliant on one specific thing as the thing that's keeping us afloat.
What do you think is the biggest hurdle preventing downtown from being robust and booming? The number one issue.
You want me to narrow it down just to one? That's going to be hard. I will say this. Right now, it is very difficult to work with City Hall to get things done, right? I myself am a business owner downtown, and I went to City Hall just for a simple permit. It's a clean and clear permit. Should take them moments to approve. It took me over 4 months to get that approved. And that's with me personally going down there, emails, phone calls, my engineers and architects doing the same, just to come to find out they were just like, oh yeah, we actually approved that, weeks ago. We didn't tell you? All right. Now, that's just me being in Trenton. Imagine businesses that want to come, headquarter here, relocate here, and hire Trentonians. If that's the issue I'm having, imagine the issues that all these businesses are having. If we can make sure that there's a city hall that is business friendly, that is efficient, and can track every single dollar that is being spent, businesses absolutely will invest here. We are a regional hub, not just for Mercer County, not just for the state, but for the entire nation.
But what does that look like?
Sure. So it looks like East State Street being revitalized. I go to many senior buildings, I go to different community events, and people reminisce all the time of the Woolworths that was down here, of the movie theater that was on South Broad Street, of the many restaurants that were on Warren Street or Front Street. That's my vision of a downtown. But I don't want to just stop there.
But I mean, on a city hall level, like how would you make city hall operate more efficiently to make it more business friendly? Like,
Sure.
what changes would you make? Would you clean house
Sure.
day one? Like, do you have people in place to improve upon how business is operated at city hall?
Absolutely. So first order of business, and like I was saying about me being prepared for this job, I know people across the country, right? Between my Howard connections, Princeton connections, just nationwide in different positions I've had, that I've been speaking so much about how much I love Trenton. They're bought in, right? And they want to be a part of Trenton's next generation, right? Of the investment that we can do here, right? The opportunity that's here. I literally went to school with people who made the San Antonio Riverwalk, right? Helped revitalize Atlanta, right? And these are the people that want to do the same here in Trenton. But I don't want to forget about the people who are here in Trenton as well that have great ideas that want to take our city to the next level, right? They absolutely will be part of my administration. On top of that, I know that there are great people in City Hall right now, but for a culture that does not reward them for doing good work. I want to retrain every single city worker, myself included as mayor, to the highest municipal standards. That way, we don't have this issue of waste, fraud, and abuse, but we can make sure that we're rewarding city workers for doing a great job and serving the people. They should be the first customer-friendly face that you see, willing to work with you to make our city better. And that's the plan under Austin Edwards administration.
How would you prevent those who live in Trenton, who's raised here, grew up here, experienced Trenton during its better days? How do you prevent those people from being priced out of the city? Because affordability is a huge issue.
It is, and it is a cornerstone of my campaign. So what we have right now, because I've parsed through the city budget, we have 1,200, that's 1,200 abandoned houses or vacant properties that are city owned. I haven't even gone into privately owned ones. City owned properties. My plan is to make sure that we get those city owned properties into the hands of Trentonians and to those who want to invest here in Trenton. Because in doing so, right, we give you a grant to fix up that property. And I'm also speaking with a lot of banks and mortgage companies that actually have, seriously, piles of cash, right? Lots of money that they're specifically, by law, have to invest in urban communities. That means they can't spend it in Hamilton. They can't spend it in Robbinsville. They can't spend it in Princeton. But they're waiting for an administration that's going to work with them so they can spend it here in Trenton. That means low-cost mortgages for people that want to invest here in Trenton. When we get those properties back on the market, that creates affordability across the board for all properties, right? It's simple supply and demand. When there is more supply, we can meet the demand, and we don't have house prices that are going for $300,000, $400,000. There's a house in my neighborhood that was, over $600,000. and it was sold, right? That doesn't make it affordable for everybody else. But we can have houses that are, again, back in the $100,000 range because we're getting them off of city-owned tax rolls and back into the hands of Trentonians.
You proposed the $10,000 tax property cap, right?
Yes.
How do you propose to pay for that?
Yes. So there's a reason why Trenton Jobs Plan is the first pillar of my campaign. When we have more jobs here, when we have people that are well employed here, when we have people that are spending money here, businesses investing here, that is more money that is going to the city tax rolls. That means we don't have to tax our homeowners as much as they are getting. I myself, living on Bellevue Avenue, this year I'm paying $17,000 in property taxes. And Kenneth, it's just me, my wife, and my 2-year-old tornado that's running around. There are a lot of other families in Trenton that are similarly situated, just like us. It shouldn't be on the backs of families, of veterans, of seniors to foot the tax bill just so we can pay to pick up trash, just so we can pay to fill potholes, just so we can pay so our lights work at night. We can evenly spread this across the board. That's how we pay it.
How do you plan to address the Department of Justice violations, findings about civil rights violations in the city of Trenton, if elected mayor?
Absolutely. So going back to my Safe Streets pillar, specifically addressing Trenton Police, when reading through the report, the number one thing they said works not just in Trenton, but works in Louisville, works in Atlanta, works in all the places they've investigated, is when you invest in community policing, you reduce these civil rights violations. For me, community policing looks like an officer friendly across the city. Now, I know we always hear, oh yeah, we don't have the money for policing, right? And we do face even some legal issues, right, of getting police to stay here in Trenton. But that's my goal. We can't mandate police to live here in Trenton. The New Jersey Supreme Court said that decades ago. But what we can do is incentivize police to be here. I want neighbors to be able to protect our neighbors. So incentivization looks like we give you more promotion opportunities the longer you stay here in Trenton. You're fast track for promotion the longer you stay here in Trenton. We have, like I was saying, those city-owned properties. We specifically block those off for police, fire, for those who want to, teachers, those who want to specifically be here in the community that they work in and invest in. That's how we can address those civil rights violations, because I much rather have somebody who goes to church with me, who's at the cookout with me, right? Who knows my cousin, my aunt, and my uncle, because they're more likely to look at me as a human being if they pull me over, if there's a stop, if there's an issue that's going on, rather than an outsider who's coming in.
But the starting salary for a police officer in Trenton is very low. And that's that's been cited as one of the problems for being able to retain officers here.
Well, look at it like this. If the military is able to do the same thing, right? Because I was very close myself to becoming a Army JAG officer, right? Don't let these contacts fool you, right? You know, I'm blind as a bat, right? Stevie Wonder vision. But I will say this. If the military is able to offer housing subsidies, food subsidies, tax subsidies for those who are able to protect our country, we can offer the same subsidies in housing, in food, and other opportunities for those who want to protect our communities.
There are a lot of people who are running. Have you ever had any discussions with other candidates to maybe perhaps back another candidate? Because I spoke to someone, they said if it depends on how their campaign is going, would you support someone else who's running? Did you have those discussions?
I think every one of the candidates has a unique talent, right? And Going back to the conversation of succession planning, what's happened in Trenton over prior generations, I don't want to repeat, right? So no matter who wins, and I pray to God that it would be me as the next mayor, my goal is that the day after the election, I'm able to reach out to the other candidates, shake their hand, and say, hey, you ran a good race. How can we continue to work together to make Trenton an even better place?
And finally, so I want you to look directly in the camera. I believe your camera is...
Yeah, I was going to say, is
over
that
there.
one or that one?
I think it might be over here for you, right? Yep, that's you right
go.
there. I want you 30 seconds to tell the residents of Trenton why Austin Edwards should be your next mayor and why you're the best man for the job.
Trenton, you deserve a mayor who is best prepared for the job. And everything that I've done up to this point has gotten me prepared to be your next mayor. My campaign is to keep Trenton first. I want to ensure that you have as many jobs and economic opportunities as possible. Whether you own or rent here in Trenton, that there is a housing for all plan where your family has a safe place to put their head every single night. That City Hall is working for you with the Trenton Transparency Dashboard where you can see where your hard-earned taxpayer dollars are going. And that finally, our streets are safe. That our community police are the shining star that they should be. And most importantly, that our street teams continue to do the great work of violence prevention that they're doing every single day. I hope to be able to continue to serve you in the many capacities that I have been. Thank you, Trenton, for the opportunity.
Austin, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you.